All right, I'm here with Ben On. I'm really excited for you to join. Love watching you play golf this year. How's everything going?
Everything's great. I just came back home 2 days ago and enjoying my time off.
Awesome. Just right away, you're having an incredible season. Is this the best golf do you think you've ever played so far in your life?
Yeah, I think so. I've been playing pretty steady. Every week feels very consistent. So yeah, I feel like this is so far. I mean, I got a long ways to go, but yeah, it's been the best golf I've been playing.
Yeah, you already have 5 top 10 finishes this year. Uh, what do you think the difference is in terms of why you're playing just so great?
Um, Technically, I'm better than last few years. Feel like I can control the ball more consistently. I could have a bad days, but out of 4 days, maybe 1 day I could have a iffy day, but other 3 days it feels pretty in control. So that's why I think I've been playing pretty consistent.
So you're one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world, and we've seen lately players kind of try to chase speed, and we saw Xander do that last week at the PGA Championship. Did you ever have to make a concerted effort to chase speed, or were you always naturally one of the higher speed guys?
I think I was average yesterday before I was working with Sean. I was 172 ball speed, 173 ball speed. Uh, but we weren't trying to change the distance, but it somehow it got up to 180. On the course, I think it gets up to 183 these days.
Mhm.
We never try to hit it farther, but we got the spin rate down to the optimal, I guess. And then swing feels better and then more consistent, and everything kind of clicked, and it was 183. We never tried to change distance, but I've been gaining on the distance for the last 2 years, so it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you went from the youngest winner ever of the U.S. Amateur. You win at Wentworth early in your career, and then a few years ago, you kind of hit a spot where the results weren't there. How hard was it at that point when you were struggling, and to make it all the way back to where you've got now, 23rd in the world?
Yeah, I was playing decent golf, won the Wentworth, and then got on the PGA Tour, got my membership, and played pretty steady, right? Like inside top 100, finished top 50 in the FedEx, but I never kind of broke the top 30 in the world again. I never got into FedEx, top 30 in FedEx. So I feel like I needed a bit of a change, trying to get it better. And then, I started working with Sean, and then I lost my card. I feel like, it was pretty hard, right? Like losing the card is never fun, but I know we all thought it was like a one step back and two step forward. So,
Mhm.
and I've spent the year in the Corn Ferry Tour, and last year was a decent year, and this year, I think I believe this is the highest, world ranking spots I've ever been to. So, the things are obviously getting better. So, that was a great decision, I guess, to change coaches, because it's pretty hard, right, to change coaches during the middle of a. I thought I had a decent career. I wasn't really struggling that much, but I just wanted to get better. So I did that and struggled for a year, and then it all paid off at the end. I think it was a great decision, and I feel like I'm the better golfer than the last couple of years. So it was tough, but it wasn't really disappointing. It was disappointing, but it wasn't like I wasn't really down, because
Mhm.
everyone around me, my team, all had a belief in me. Is that we just spend a year or two in Colin Ferry Tour, and then we'll get back stronger than ever. So which it did. So yeah, that was nice.
Right, right. And did you, in that time, did you make any technical changes?
Yeah, there are a few changes, since working with Sean, and got my face a little stronger. If I want to be really technical, if I my face a little stronger, I tend to open it quite a bit in the backswing, almost swing like a bunker shot with the full swing. So the
Mhm.
spin kind of went up. I was hitting it, wiping the cross a little bit, but now it's more of a draw, be my shot shape, and a little bit stronger club face. And that took a while. It took about a year and a half to get kind of used to it. Now we don't really get it that far off, I guess.
Mhm.
So it was pretty hard at first, but now I feel like I've been taking off, and there's not much change we need. It's kind of, we just got to stick to it to with the same stuff for the last year and a half or so.
So yeah, your finish at Augusta was tied for your best ever finish at a major. Do you think that new kind of draw path it was helpful for Augusta?
Possibly, but I hit it great that week. I don't think I hit it any better other weeks. I think that week was my best ball striking week. I think my putting wasn't very good that week. Struggled a little bit with the short putts, but I had tons of birdie chances out there all week. I think maybe it suited my game, but I was driving it so good. I was like, hitting over the trees, everywhere.
Mhm.
Just the ball striking was very solid. So I just, if your ball striking solid there, it's a good place to be.
Right. So you mentioned the shorter putts, and throughout your career, that's kind of been one of your only weaknesses. And this year,
Yeah.
you've been gaining putting more often than not, and you're having a solid putting year.
Yeah.
What would you attribute that to? Is that the new lab putter, or the stroke, or what's kind of changed?
Yeah, I guess the putter helps, but me and my coach John Graham, we've been working on putting for 3 years now. Um, we are, like I said, we are seeing a lot of progress. We've been putting a lot better than the last couple of years. We've been gaining more than losing more. Yeah, some bad stretches, that Masters and the Valero, those stretch Harbortown. But last Wells Fargo, I was first in the putting, which it never happened before for me.
Mhm.
And even at the PGA, I was putted decent. I over a whole week, I think gained a little bit at the end. So I feel like it's a progress, right? There's never. I don't think there's a quick fix to get a game of golf. I think it takes time, and we've been sticking with the same putter for a year now. No, I used to be a very I change my putters regularly, so I have tons of putters sitting around my house right here. But I think it's the same putter. We're sticking with the same method. The green readings, and and then I feel like it's getting better and better, and we're heading to the right direction. So I think the stats kind of show that this year. I think the long putter helps me quite a bit as well. It takes my hands out of it. Um, I used to use my hand a lot when I putt, so the distance control gets a little bit off. But now I think it's more consistent, so I can, that'll help my green readings better, with a more consistent speed. So I think everything just feels like it's clicking. The ones we are working on, the green readings, and also, you know, the speed controls, and I guess the long putter helps.
Awesome. Yeah. So you were right about the 23rd ranking being your highest of your career. So you've achieved that. You're some serious great finishes and big time events. What are your goals now going forward now that you've reached this level?
Um, I I'd love to get in the top 10 in the world. I've never done that before, and my coach Sean's always tell me about it, so it's almost like hypnotized me. I was like, hey Ben, you're the top 10 golfer in the world. You got this. I'm like, okay, maybe, but like, now I'm seeing it a little bit more. I think I can compete with against the best players in the world. Um, you know, Hopefully, I'll get a win this year. If not, just top 10 in the world, or top 30 in FedEx, because that was my main goal starting this year, because I never finished top 30 in the FedEx. So um, obviously I got a few more weeks to play, but yeah, that was one of my goals, and hopefully I get a win next couple events. If not, then I'd love to play this consistent golf. I think this is pretty good, like, and then eventually I'll get a chance, for a win at the PGA Tour. So I just want to play good golf. I think that's my main goal:
Yeah.
consistent and a decent golf.
Do you think you lost in a playoff at Memorial to Bryson,
Mm.
right? Do you think that's a good spot for you up in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I like that place. Memorial is a great track. You need to hit it far and kind of straight, because the rough could be long or very long. I always like that place, but we'll see. Hopefully my game shows up, and if my game shows up there, I think I'll have a very good chance. And um, yeah, I think my record's pretty good there, so I like my chances.
So speaking of Bryson, he kind of captivated the golf world last week at the PGA.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you saw some highlights and stuff. Do you
Yeah.
think, are we missing, and I just know you just as a fan,
Hmm.
missing kind of all these players together. Do you think the golf world needs something to come together for these two tours?
Yeah, I mean, you saw it last week. I watched the whole back nine, PGA. Um, yeah, we definitely missed some of them. up there. Not, I wouldn't say the whole league, but yeah, definitely. So there's still a few of my friends out there I see here in Lake Nona, and Tyrrell, Poulter, and those guys. And yeah, Poulter, Sensen, and those guys are going into the late half of their
Mhm.
stage of a career. So but definitely Tyrrell and Bryson Brooks, those guys are still, you can see it in the major result. They still compete. They can still compete with the regular tour. So yeah, we'd love to see something happen very soon. And I mean, I'm not in the board, so I don't know what's going on. So I have no idea if it's gonna happen or not. But yeah, we'll definitely miss some of the guys. We love competing in the majors. You can, those four majors, like Masters was a great one. This PGA was great. I'm sure the US Open will be the same. We will see some competitive golf, but I mean, I got no controls of it. I'd love to play against those guys, but that's good for fans too. I think I'm sure the
Yeah.
fans loved it last week, and as I'm one of the golf fans, I love watching Bryson play. He's definitely a character that I guess we don't have in the PGA Tour anymore since he left. So yeah, it's nice to see him play well, and then I mean, I just like to see Xander win after the great performance at Wells Fargo. I'm sure he felt very gutted for not winning, but he got him right back the following week, which is very impressive, and that was a great golf he played.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd rather have the major.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk about like the live schedule and whether these guys are benefiting from it or whether it's costing them. There's a lot of analysts out there that say there's no way they can remain sharp with their schedule, and there's some people like Bryson who say that it gives them more time to practice. And do you think that schedule could be helpful, or do you think that's kind of just propaganda of them saying that they prefer that schedule, or do you think maybe it depends on the guy?
I think it's a preference, right? Like for for me, I like the current schedule in the PGA Tour. That's when you play well, right? You have 4 months off for tour. Like last year, I mean, this year, like if I get in top 30 or top 50 in the world, if the schedule remains the same, I can take the whole fall off, which is like 3.5 months. I can work on my game. That's the best part is I can really have an off season now if you have a
Right.
decent schedule. So, but like I said, for some people, they love the short. For me, I don't like playing that much. I like to play a couple weeks on and a couple weeks off. Just maybe because of my I'm not the youngest guy on tour anymore, so I need some time off. I would like to spend time at home. Working on stuff here and there. I'm that type of guy. So, it's all the preference. I think for some people it works. The 14 event schedule works, but you can also see some people go play extra events to keep them sharp. So yeah, like for Bryson, he loves his schedules. It's great, but um, for some, I guess it doesn't work that way. It's all the preference, I guess. There's no good and bad. I think it's that's what they like. For Bryson, I guess it's working out great, but maybe some others, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see these guys around, do they ever try to like sell you on how great it is or anything?
Oh no, never. They never say that. Like even like I said, I live by Poulter or someone I see him all the time. They never try to sell anything, but you know, I asked them, we they know what PGA Tour is like. So when I asked them, like, yeah, how's it over there? They say, oh, it's great. They never try to sell me anything, but we just, no, I mean, they're not well, I'm sure there are other players who does that to other players, but to me, like, they,
Yeah.
they never try to sell it or anything, but it seems that they're enjoying their life. So it's good for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So with your great golf, I mean, it seems, I don't want to jinx anything, but it seems like
Yeah.
President's Cup definitely on your radar. How important is that to you?
Oh, it's very much. I think it's a big trophy for me. You play well, you get in, right? So last time I played in 2019, I really had one of the greatest time in my life. Although we lost, but we had a great time there. We were very close. It's one of the team events in every 2 years for international players. So I was very looking forward to it this year. And then the last one I missed out, but yeah, this one definitely I would love to make the team. Um, it's one of my goals this year. It's hopefully we can beat them this year. But yeah, let me get on the team first, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's definitely one of my goals.
there are a lot of fans, and I think the President's Cup is an awesome event, but there are a lot of fans out there who I know think if you guys were able to add the Niemans and the Cam Smiths of the world, you guys could really beat the American team. And I feel that way too. Do you think that they should be able to play on the team?
Yeah, we'll be a great addition to the team, but I feel like we were missing, like you said, those Cam, Neiman, and maybe Dean Burmeister. He's been playing
Yeah.
great, and I saw him last week. He's having some good golf, but it's just the rules of now, right? It sucks for not having the team, but it's kind of, I mean, same for US team, right? They're missing a few players as well, so
Yeah.
but yes, we need to have a win in our international team, but it's up to Mike and the PGA Tour to decide. So it's run by the PGA Tour, not the PGA of America. Like Ryder Cup, they could add Bryson or Brooks to the team if they qualify, but this is a little different kind of organization running. So we'll love to see him on the team again very soon, but just doesn't have that criteria anymore.
Yeah.
They're out of the wall rankings, so it's kind of have him on the team. So as of now, I mean, this year I don't see it happening, but hopefully, we'll, like I said, we'll figure something out. We'll figure this merge or something out in the next few years, and hopefully see them on the team soon. Because like you said, they're a great player that we missed out. But I think even the teams we have right now, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Playing in Canada will help us this year. We'll see what happens, but we'll miss him, but hopefully we'll have a strong enough team to have a compete against the US team this year.
So you played at Valhalla obviously last week. And there's another thing that's being highly debated, online between fans. Do you think that was a major championship test, or do you feel like a major needs to be more difficult?
I just played Wells Fargo last week and then Valhalla. So, for as a pro, I don't want to play this tough golf courses every single week. Yes, it's once in a while, it's fine, right? It's like having Honda, Bay Hill, TPC, those 3 weeks in a row could be very punishing. It's just a lot of golf, a lot of hard golf to be played. But Wells Fargo last week was very different, right? Because the greens are very firm. I've never seen it that tough. But last week, it didn't feel like a major week, the course setups, because roughs are long, but greens are so soft. Everything around the green wasn't that punishing because if you miss the green, you can still get up and down, you can still get it close. But I think it's a major golf course, but just the weather didn't cooperate. With all the rains we had before we started. The course was amazing. I think it was a great setup. It's a long enough golf course, tough par threes. We had the dramas. Like I saw a lot of people say it's too easy, but I see a lot of people still liked it. Coming down
Great
the stretch.
leaderboard and great
Yeah,
drama.
great leaderboard, tight leaderboard. Everyone was in it until the last few holes. I mean, it doesn't have to be tough, I guess, to be yes, 21 under one, I think at the end.
21.
Yeah, it's tough, but we kind of need that once in a while, right? Like because I know the U.S. Open will be very tough. So, I mean, it was a lot of birdies and stuff, but personally, I think course is great, but just unfortunate how the weather turned out. It was too wet. It could have been a lot harder when the weather was dried out, but just one of those things. They can't really do much about it. I think they did the best they could. It was a good golf course, I think. Yeah.
So you mentioned not loving playing all these weeks on tough courses, which makes complete sense. But do you think you have a better chance at winning or an advantage on a harder course because your ball striking is so superior to so many of the players?
Yeah, I agree. Like especially the balls, right? I hit the ball really high. I have a lot of spin on the ball. I definitely have the advantage because I was able to stop the ball in the green quicker than the other people. Especially when the pin's in the front or something. I have an 8-iron in. I can stop the ball quickly than the 6-iron. So having distance and the ball striking, it helps in a tougher golf course. But it still has to play well. So like last week, the PGA greens were soft, but you can see all the top ball strikers is still were up there. You can't really like, John, I remember John said, if you don't have the ball striking in that golf course, you're not making any birdies. But if you do, you're making a lot of birdies. So I think last week was kind of one of those courses, like, I struggled in the third round. I didn't hit the ball very good, tee to green, and I just could not get any birdies or birdie chances. But
Yeah.
last round, I was hitting the ball really good, and every hole's a birdie chance. So, you know, definitely the longer and tougher it gets, the ball striking helps to score lower, I think.
Right. So for Pinehurst, I mean, it's probably going to be really firm and fast, and you have that high apex height,
Mm.
which should be an advantage there. Do you think that's maybe a good setup for you? And have you played there before?
I played there a long time ago, 2008 U.S. Amateur. So I don't remember any of the holes, but I know they went to a lot of changes after that, and for
Yeah.
2008, I think. So I haven't seen the course, but I know it'll be firm and like almost like linksy. I heard because last
Yeah.
time when Martin Keimer won, I think the course was very dry and he was putting it off the greens from everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, the firmer, obviously it's tougher, right? You got to think about it a little more. You got to think about where to pitch it and stuff, where to leave yourself. I think that golf is more, it suits my game more, I think, because, I have to really hit the right shot in the right spots. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen the course yet, but yeah, hopefully it's weather cooperates, I guess.
So your around the green game has always been a strength, and you've gained strokes
Yeah.
around the green for most of your career. Do you
Mhm.
prefer the hitting those chips out of the rough, or would you rather those firm, tight lies like Augusta or Pinehurst?
Mm. Um, I mean, nobody likes the rough, I guess. I don't, because the only thing is I don't know how it's gonna come out of the rough. That's kind
Hmm.
of guessing most of the times. Um, I love to chip from the tight lies, like a Honda and Bay Hills and off the green. You have this. I don't really mind the green because I've always lived in Florida for a long time, so I know how to deal with it. But I love to chip kind of into the hills and bump and rolls and tight lies. I kind of like that. But rough is like I don't find anyone liking the roughs because you don't know how it's gonna come out. You could get some bad lies, you can get some good lies. Especially last week was very tough around the greens. It was kind of I think it was a bluegrass rough. It's very uneven. You
Yeah.
can get some nasty lies, you can get some great lies. Um, yeah, but I think I prefer the false off. Little undulations here and there.
Yeah. And you typically putt your best on Bentgrass. Do you like statistically it shows that way? Do you feel that way when you're putting?
No. So, yeah, I don't really thought about it, I guess. I think I putt well on some of the Bermuda greens as well. I struggle on the pole, but everybody struggles on the pole greens, I
Yeah.
think. Percentage is a lot lower, so you know, because I asked a lot of players, like, I know I struggle on the pose a lot when I go to West Coast. So I asked them, like, how do you deal with it? And they're like, they just know the chances are very low of making. Even the three
Yeah.
footers, 4 footers, those guys who grew up there, they know that the percentage that they don't get frustrated is easier than other people, like me, because that's a difference. I don't think they make more. They just know it misses more. So,
Right.
but for me, I don't really know what greens I putt well. I know I like the Bermuda greens. I don't know why, because like I said, I spend most of the times in Florida, so maybe I like the Bermuda greens better. But that's kind of a good news that I'm good at bank greens because I think Memorial's a bank green.
Yep.
Like, yeah, so we'll see. But I don't really have that. Some of the weeks I feel like my green greens are a little bit sharper than the other days because I use the aim points. I use my feet a lot.
Hmm.
Some days, when we warm up, when we check our numbers and the slopes, I feel more dialed in. So in that weeks, I think I putt better because obviously I'm reading the greens better that week. So yeah, we'll see. Just a very based in the field. So I don't. Yeah, I mean it's good to know that I putt well on the putting greens.
So, kind of non-golf question here. Have you seen more, like since gambling's been mainstream, have you seen more fans talk about that, like at the course and like, saying they bet on you or and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because a lot of people last week I had a lot of support. You know, I heard a lot of guys yelling Ben. Was I mean obviously there were a lot of people last week. There were a lot of fans came out. But a lot of weeks I hear yeah. I mean I hear a lot of I need you this week, Ben. I'm telling him like you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
need me. Like you don't need anything but pay taxes or anything. But you know, I get a lot of messages on Twitter and Instagrams and stuff. When I don't play well, they send a message. I bet you, this much money I lost him, and like, yeah. So it's unfortunate, but you bet on me. Should it's like an investment, right? It's a wrong investment. You should have invested in me. So you should have done someone else. But yeah, it's gambling is. There are always fans, that crosses the line. Like this is too much. I love the supports I'm getting. Especially when you play well, everyone loves you, right? Because they bet on you. You play well. But I have a lot of friends who bets on me, and they're just like for support, right? It's like, I like this guy, so let's bet a little bit. But it's golf, right? I mean, even the numbers is great. Like I said, the odds are good, but might have a one bad week or one few bad days. It's just not gonna compete. It's so hard. There's so many good players out there.
Right.
But yeah, I hear them a lot this year, especially like a lot of young people on the course. They're really into it. Even I heard at the Walls when I was playing with Lee Hodges, they're betting each other. I can hear them say, "Hey Ben, like closest pin for $1,000 or something like that." And those are like young. I don't know. It looks like teenagers and stuff. And we just ignore them, but I can hear them a lot of young fans. They're betting on you or other players. I guess it's good to see. As long as they don't, like I said, they don't cross the line. They can bet how much money they want, but just as long as they don't, heckle us on the golf course, I guess it's all good.
Yeah, you've kind of become like one of the most popular players on like social media. Like, everybody loves you. Yeah. Do you see that, and why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe the good golf this year. I guess a lot of people benefited from me playing good this year. That's why I hear a lot of support on the golf course and on the Twitter and everywhere. So it's a good thing. You play good golf, you engage a lot of fans. I think that's the fastest way to have more fans is playing good golf, and I can feel it this year because I've been playing some good golf. So yeah.
So you've been like active on social media, but then you also said that you want to take a break from social media. So overall, as a pro athlete, like what are the pros and cons of being on social media as a pro golfer?
The pros, I don't know much about the pros for me. Like I just like reading some. I know there's some funny rumors here and there. Looking at the news, I guess it's the things you cannot get from the mainstream news. Like the little gossips here and there. I guess they're not even pros, but I hear a lot of support. A lot of friendly messages from the followers and everything. I think those are the pros, right? All the support you can kind of feel that you can look at it. The cons is like a lot. It takes a lot of energies out of it. Like I said, there might be some messages that's a little aggressive, or you can hear some nonsense from other people. There are a lot of fights going on the Twitter these days between the the pro PGA fans and pro LIV fans, and just listening to them it's exhausting. Like it's to be honest, like I don't know why they're so mad about not having the LIV golfers on PGA Tour, or like why they're so mad about having other whatever the players. Like it's we play in the tour, and we've been quiet, but I see all the fans kind of fighting each other. I'm like, there's no point. I think there's no point. They're not doing the negotiations. The pros are, or the investors are. So it's just it's a very weird world. I think the Twitter, especially, it's very weird.
It is. You're saying the pros, you guys aren't fighting back and forth. So why are the PGA Tour fans fighting against the LIV fans? Like,
like I don't have anything against those guys. I mean, I saw a familiar face, like you said. I saw Dean last week. I saw Neiman last week. I saw many guys. We just like they're on a different tour. It's not like we're at the war. I mean, maybe some guys maybe think that way, but I don't, because it's a choice they made, and then they're on another tour. It's good to see them in the majors, but hopefully we can compete in one day. Hopefully both of our tour can come up with something something reasonable, right? Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, they shouldn't come back to tour. they should or should not. It's as of now is there's no way for them to come back because that's the rule. I guess you have to play 15 events over here to keep your card. That's been always there because when I play in the European Tour, I still have to play the minimum over here to keep my
Yep.
card. And for them, it's a lot harder now because they have to play 14 over there and 15 over here. I mean, it's almost impossible to do that.
Right.
So maybe there will be a change in the rules here and there, but at the end, yeah, that's why I try to spend less time on Twitter. There's a lot of nonsense, and I'm the type of guy when I see some wrong information, I don't want to argue with him, but I don't.
Yeah.
So I just stay out of it, and I just look at some stuff. But there's a lot of fascinating, interesting news, like rumors out there in the Twitter
Yeah.
world. Because you can write whatever you want, right? It's like start spreading the rumors. Like I heard a lot like 2 years ago, with all the Korean players, some Korean players are going to live. I'm like, I just spoke to him yesterday. He's not.
Yeah.
Going anywhere. That kind of stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting world. I think it's a lot of it's good and bads. I can see. Like I love following Michael Kim's tweet. He gives a lot of great informations out there. He throws a lot of he helps a lot of other people. So that's the pros and I think that's the best way of using the social media as a pro. That's how to engage with the fans, and he's been doing great. So it's not a necessarily a really bad world, but it just takes a lot of energy, I think. So
Right.
that's what I said. I try to get a little bit less time on it and try to do it as minimal as possible, but I still want to engage with the fans. If someone takes a shot at me, and I definitely want to get them back because then they like those stuff, right? They
Yeah.
like those little things, and that's just who I am. Like I said, if I want to see something, I want to go at them. So I do that sometimes. Hopefully, not after the bad round of golf, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And you've been really generous with your time today. So I'm going to let you go and get ready, get your practice in, whatever you got to do. And good luck at Memorial. Good luck at the President's Cup, hopefully, and good luck in the next few majors. I have really high hopes for you, and you're having a great season. So congratulations so far.
Thank you. Thanks, man.